Hey kids, it's
Whoa!
us. Whoa! Except we're not a very kid-oriented program, so no. Hey kids, if you're here, go away. We're gonna
Turn
swear.
this off.
We're gonna swear words and talk about things.
Yeah. We're gonna say bad words.
We're gonna say
Possibly.
swears and talk about mommy-daddy things.
Finally, I want to learn about that stuff, you know.
Never really known about the mommy-daddy thingies. Welcome,
I've just been
folks.
faking like I know, but
You've just been sort of phoning it in, just sort of going through the
yeah,
motions.
just pretending like I know.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's too late for me to ask now. Yeah.
Ask about the stuff. Yeah, I mean,
The birds, and the bees.
those birds and those bees. I mean, to be fair though, you could always just ask rando folks in chat rooms, just log in and say, "Hi there, I'm definitely a 13-year-old child. How do these things work?" I'm sure you'll get completely normal people responding to you. Nothing
God.
crazy, nothing weird.
I feel like those people belong in prison.
They do.
But yeah, no, it's too bad there's not a resource that I could just go type in a question. And get an
I know.
answer.
Yeah,
Shit,
there's
maybe they'll come up with that someday.
maybe someday they'll make a website where you could like type something in and like you'll find related topics.
Boy, wouldn't that
Like-
be? Wouldn't that be something?
Like a LexisNexis for the internet. Welcome, folks. It's another episode of DrawBomb. This is a show where we draw for about 2 hours or so and talk about junk, and eventually we will settle on a
Yeah, it's
catchphrase.
Have you changed your mind about the one that you were trying out for a while?
You know, I said it once earnestly, and I was just like, I hate this.
Yeah, it's just not right. It doesn't feel right.
No. You know, I feel like we're a bit edgier.
Say something. That's right. We're cool guys.
We're like when they revamped the Looney Tunes into extreme versions of them.
Tiny Toons.
Yeah, Tiny Toons.
Less extreme versions.
Yeah, that's Muppet Babies. No, but do you remember that? Do you remember when they did the revamp of the fucking Looney Tunes to make them like extreme and cool?
They've done it a lot of times, so I'm not sure
There was a.
exactly what you're talking about.
I'll post a screenshot into the draw pile real quick because it was.
Is that like when they made Ren and Stimpy sex criminals for a season?
No, it's
Like 10 years after the show came out?
I don't want to say it's worse. I mean, Ren and Stimpy was made by a sex criminal, so that's
Right,
kind
I
of-
know, but he kind of pulled the curtain back for
Yeah.
that season.
But hold on one sec. Let me just find these. They had like a specific name for them and everything. They were called the Lunatics. That's right.
Whoa. That sounds
And-
intense.
It was super extreme, and this is what they looked like. I don't think they ever actually ended up making anything with this,
What
but
the hell?
they were straight up trying to make this into a TV
Ew.
show.
Look
back
how
in, like,
ugly Taz is.
Look how
They're all
ugly
ugly. but-
everybody is.
I know, but he's like, it's like, the others I guess I could tell who everybody is, mostly.
I guess-
Why are there two ducks?
Why is Roadrunner part of the main cast?
Oh,
What is
that's Roadrunner.
doing? Yeah, so
Well,
animated.
Wile E. Coyote is not trustworthy as a...
It ran for 2 seasons, 2005 to 2007, I guess.
Wow. That's dumb as shit.
Yeah, I
Chat
almost
knows about this, though. They're
Chat-
both like...
Oh my
I
god.
think Ian's talking about Lunatics Unleashed. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Taz, they gave, like...
He's like
So-
Purple Hulk. He's the Incredible Crunk.
They made him, like longer, and, like... His proportions have totally changed. I know they all kind of have, but him especially. That's why it's unsettling. He has like a gorilla body when he used to just be like a, I don't know, just a circle with little stick arms and legs.
He was kind of
Not a
like an
circle,
upside
but yeah.
down triangle. Like a
Yeah, not a
rounded
circle. He's
triangle.
just a blob.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, the screen still says with special guest Zach, and that's not true.
Oh no.
He ain't here.
Hey.
He ain't here. Yeah, I want to see the other Lunatics Unleashed for some of the other characters, like Badass Elmer Fudd, as I was wondering suggested.
Yeah, I would love to see Badass Elmer Fudd because that sounds. You know what?
Maybe
Let's
that-
find
maybe
out. They
we'll
had
have to
2
draw some.
seasons.
Where's Porky Pig?
Fudd?
He has. Porky Pig's like, that's fucking all, folks.
Yo, get what they did with Elmer Fudd.
I can't wait.
You know how in Avengers Infinity War they gave the Hulk a big like Iron Man suit?
Yeah.
That's basically what they did with Elmer Fudd. He looks like fucking.
He's got the Hulkbuster suit.
He's got the Hulkbuster suit, and then
They still made his face dumb. Everybody else, they're like, gave like these like. Tried to
Yeah,
make them look
he's-
cool. Their faces. He still has this dopey head.
He just still looks like Elmer Fudd. They just gave him a mech suit. Lunatics Unleashed Porky Pig. Let's see what Porky looks like. Pinkster Pig is what he's called in Lunatics. And
Also,
he-
Lotus Clock says Pepe Le Pew is just a human in that show for some reason.
oh my god. Sylvester.
Granny is Granny in the show. I need to see every character.
Queen Granicus.
I can't believe you just dropped this on me right as we're trying to start this show. We're not going to draw this episode. We're just going to deep dive into Lunatics.
Porky Pig looks like Spaceman Spiff, holding a weird like fleshlight. I don't know.
Oh, he fucks that thing.
Sylvester is like I think they're making a Sylvester the Cat. I think they're making a Judge Dredd reference with Sylvester Stallone because Sylvester the Cat just looks like fucking Judge Dredd.
Yep, that's what they're going for. Tweety Bird, I feel like they like Tweety too much. They're gonna give it a much cooler role than it deserves.
Here's Granny, by the way.
What the fuck?
What is this shit? Why is
Who
this?
thought this was a good idea?
I don't know who thought this was a good idea. This is just a travesty, really. They made her like 50 years younger. Oh, Tweety is Royal Tweetums. And basically, you know the spoon and fork guy from Mystery Men, played by Hank Azaria?
I'm aware. Yes.
That's Tweety Bird, basically.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Weird.
this is
They
Lunatics.
do weird things with the proportions. Like anybody with like who has famously like skinny arms and legs, they like chunked them out and like
Yeah.
everybody's just like it's weird.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to draw some Lunatics as this goes on. I don't know.
Oh my god. I didn't know that existed and I wish I still didn't know, but
Yeah. I think you know how I found out is I think it had already been canceled. I think somebody made a Newgrounds video making fun of it where like the Bugs Bunny was like telling these kids to like do drugs with him behind the school and they're like, "No thanks, dude. I'm just gonna go." I think it's like a Flash cartoon on Newgrounds is how I found out about that.
somebody signed off on that.
Somebody did. Yeah. I mean, Warner Brothers, they're the kings of making good business decisions. That much is clear. You know what I gotta say, though, about Lunatics? I'm not sure if it's worse than Space Jam 2. I don't know.
You know, that's a low bar.
It's a low bar. And I'm not sure if... Anyways. Brandon,
Yes.
do you have anything you want to plug? No, what have you...
We're talking about Lunatics and we end this immediately.
Yeah, this is a 5-minute long episode. See you later, everybody. What have you been doing this past week?
Gosh. Just been working a lot. Yesterday we had a bridal shower. Like they did like normally it's just like a lot of bridal parties are like
A bridal shower that was not part of your wedding, right? You have
It was
to
like-
clarify since
no,
you've
it was
talked
for
about.
my wedding. It like we had one of
Okay.
my but it was like everybody got together. It wasn't just the ladies like a lot of them
Okay.
are. So it was pretty fun. It was basically just a big party with Morgan's dad's side and it was fun. Really
Nice.
a lot of good food and I like all them, so that's great.
'Cause I
I'm just
wasn't
saying
sure
that
if you
because
were-
they all watch this show religiously. Every
Gotcha.
single one of her family members love it
They tune in all the time. The reason I
all
was
the time.
The reason I was asking is because, you know, you work in a restaurant that caters events sometimes. Like
Oh, right,
smaller
right, right.
things. So I wasn't sure if you
Nope,
were.
this was. I was an attendee. I was the focus of the party.
Okay. Ooh.
So.
The focus of a bridal shower?
Well, it was okay. I guess that's not the right word. It was like a wedding shower, but like normally bridal showers are like all the women get together type thing. That's like a common tradition.
Oh,
but
yeah, absolutely.
This was like the whole family just got together.
I've
But
catered many a shower in my day. They were actually some of the best money I made was catering bridal showers because you came in on a Sunday morning. Yeah, you worked for like 4 hours and you walked away with like $120. It was pretty great.
Can't beat that.
Nah.
Lotus Clock says, if you want a better space-themed Looney Tunes spin-off, look out for the Duck Dodgers series. Yeah, I'm familiar with Duck Dodgers. I didn't realize
I did watch
that. Badass Looney Tunes was in space. I mean, of course it is, though, right?
Yeah, of course. Can't do it on like the Warner lot. I will say, I have seen Duck Dodgers, and like not like I didn't watch all of it, but I remember when it was out and they were making episodes, and I would catch it on TV. It was all right. I don't know. Like it's weird. There has only ever been one iteration of Looney Tunes, I think, where I at least enjoyed it when they sort of took it away from the slapstick standard, or like just
the traditional.
Revamped and upgrade. I don't know. Like I've watched some of the HBO Looney Tunes, and like I appreciate what they're going for, but like the quality of the animation doesn't quite sell it all the time, you know?
Fair.
Oh, when I said that we would have a guy working,
I only watched a little bit.
When I said we'd have a guy working the counter, I figured we'd make him like a DrawBomb.
A bomb man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well I can do that.
I mean, you don't have
to. DrawBomb at heart.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to. I was surprised when I saw it.
Too late. I'm erasing his head now.
Oh no. Yeah, I feel so. I remember the Duck Dodgers TV show. I feel like that show. You know how we talked about the green M&M and how it seemed like they wanted you to fuck the green M&M in those commercials?
Right.
The Martian Queen in the Duck Dodgers show.
There was like human men in these commercials that were like, "Oh baby, yeah," licking their lips.
There's like a Martian Queen in the Duck Dodgers show, and she was just. I just remember me watching that show and being like, "Are you guys trying to like Lola Bunny this weird Martian Queen woman thing?" Because it was strange. I don't know. I could be remembering it wrong, but she was kind of dressed like you know Chell from the El Dorado movie?
Yes.
She was dressed like that basically, but like space. Space dressed like that.
Yeah.
And she had a weird no mouth.
They were trying to make her sexy in El Dorado.
Yes. Which is why I think basically if you put like a woman character and you put her in like a bra and like a weird like belt that has a flap and that's like a loincloth and that's it, I'm like, what are you doing? This person's not wearing clothes.
They're like, well, we first drew them naked and then the network that made us add bits and pieces until we came to this compromise.
Yeah. The artists were really horny. We couldn't stop them. We couldn't stop the horny artists.
They already started drawing it. You just felt weird telling them to stop.
Yeah. Oh, Lotus knows the actual name of the character. Oh, Queen Tyranny. I was like, what the fuck is that spelling at first? But I get it. It's a pun. He's a pun.
Hilarious. I get it.
Yay.
The big chest abs.
It's like making an evil chancellor, calling him Richard Tater.
Unsung hero standing proud.
I mean, I feel like if being named Richard Tater would turn somebody evil.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I mean, a boy named Sue situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, now that we've really just like shot our wad on like the lunatics and all this stuff, what is there to discuss?
What else is there to talk about in this world?
I don't know. I've been so busy working on this fucking comic, I haven't like talked to you in a week.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to go into detail, but how's that coming along?
It's going
How you feeling
along.
about it?
I think I'm gonna hit the deadline if I keep up my workload, but I took up I took up another job that's gonna have a hefty workload that I should be doing right now technically.
Well,
Just because I need the cash and I need the exposure, but I don't know. We'll see if it was a good decision or not.
well, if you should be doing it right now, well then, do you have anything to plug?
Oh yeah, Lunatics Unleashed. Make sure you check it out, both seasons. I wonder if there's
Are
a way.
you working on the new season of it?
I am. I wonder if there's a place you can find, like old. I'm sure you can if you'd like to do Lunatics Unleashed, Put Locker. I'm sure you could find the episodes and revel in the horror.
I imagine it's not like X Team or Extreme.
Oh, Extreme Team.
Sure, it can be found.
I'm sure. If not, it's another instance of lost media discovered on this show, and it begs the question, does some media deserve to be lost? Does Lunatics Unleashed deserve to be forgotten about?
Should it be? Yeah, should it stay lost?
Because I feel like the creators of the
Yeah,
show...
It's like one of those movies where somebody like digs up some cursed item. Like at the end of Jumanji when they throw it in a river,
Yeah.
it should stay in that river.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, there's a... I had another example loaded up, but I forgot it. Oh, wow. You get it. The thing he said. Throw that shit at the bottom of a river. I hear there is some bad CGI in the new Game of Thrones episode.
That's so. Well, let's see. I watched it. I'm trying to think what that would have been.
Yeah, the article I was looking
Pretty
at...
tired last night when I was watching it, but I'm trying to think what it could have been.
The article I read that mentioned it, like it was just like this headline was like, "Oh, CGI fuck up in Game of Thrones," and I was like, "All right, oh, what's going on here?" And then like the article was like, "Yeah, you can kind of see in the picture below," and then there was no picture below in the article. So like basically the article was like, "Yeah, the CGI was really bad in this one scene. Take our word for it."
Proof.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's some good reporting there. Anybody in the chat? If anybody in the chat has watched the newest episode of House of the Dragon, let me know if you know what he's talking about. I can't think exactly what it might be offhand. I was a little disappointed. So the new show is starting in episode 2. They were going to reveal the new intro, and I was pumped because I think Game of Thrones has a great intro. So I was like, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I think I saw that new intro.
And visually it's cool, but it's the same song, and I was like, oh, well, I love that song, but I was excited to hear another new song.
It's the intro with all the blood and shit, like the whoosh, 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 blood.
Looks all right. But
It's fanciful for sure. I feel like it's really busy. Like, it's nowhere near as good. I mean, I've seen it, but not the show, but the intro. And in my opinion, it's like it's like when, do you remember when they updated the Simpsons intro for HD and then they added a whole bunch of like shit into each scene to like make it busier and like more expensive? And I remember seeing that and being like, this takes away all the charm of the original intro. Just makes it, it's like when they like revamped the Star Wars, like the old Star Wars, and like just added more shit covering the screen, and it's like, guys,
fit as many things into a frame as we can.
Yeah, and I felt that way about The Simpsons. I don't feel that way about the Game of Thrones intro. I just feel like the new Game of Thrones intro, it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just very, very busy, and
That's fair.
it's just it's called whoosh, 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 wow, 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 wow.
It needs to stop with all the whooshing, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's a lot of whooshing going on, and I'm just kind of like, okay, like, the beautiful thing about the original Game of Thrones intro was it's so simple, but it works, it's fucking dope. It's like, hey, it's a board game.
It's kind of simple, but it also kind of looks complex.
It looks complex. I'm sure it was not easy to put together, but like and it also really sells the theme of the show. Like it's kind of like it's putting you at this board game almost, like you're playing Risk or fucking Settlers of Catan or something like that. And then you're just, and that's kind of what the show is like everyone just vying for power and things like that. So it fits, it makes sense, it's simple, you know, there's, I mean, it's a pretty flawless intro. I'm not gonna lie. Original Game of Thrones really fucking nailed it on that intro. So
That's a nice intro.
that's a good intro. So the fact that like the new one isn't as good isn't like not for lack of trying. Like they tried clearly with that new intro. It is flying at 100
Right.
miles per hour constantly. But you know, I don't know. You can't top that original intro. It's just so dang good.
How do you tap it?
Yeah, but they also used the same song, which I feel like that's also gonna hurt it. Like if they had chosen a slightly different theme song, it wouldn't invite such direct comparisons to the original intro because you're hearing
That's
like
a good point.
that theme song and you're like, ah, sweet. Oh, it's a different intro. That's not as good. And it's weird that it's not as good because it's like way more kinetic. It's just like flying. It's like zooming around those waterfalls. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I don't feel like it's that hyper speed like you're describing it, but there's a lot more going on. I would say maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I just, you know,
I'll have to pay closer attention next time.
I'm not like, you're not going like light speed. You're not like in that weird color vortex like from 2001 Space Odyssey, but you know, it's definitely zooming around, trying to like, it's going for more visual, whoa, spectacle and things like that, but it's not quite hitting that bar every time. Which is fine. Yeah, I mean, they did their best.
Spot says, I would like DrawBomb episode where Brandon and Ian play chess. I would lose because Ian has played quite a bit of chess lately with Austin. I mean, not lately,
Not
but over
lately,
the
yeah.
last like couple years.
Yeah, over pandemic, beginning of pandemic, I would say. I kind of fell off of it after a while.
But I haven't played that much in my life. I know how to play, but I wouldn't say I'm particularly good by any means.
Yeah, it's tough because chess is like, you know, a game where it's about strategy and like sort of like planning around your opponent's moves and almost like a little bit of like manipulation because, you know, you want to set up things to fuck somebody else up. And you could technically be good at chess without ever having played a game before if your like strats are as, you know, ambitious or whatever, but there are certain things that you learn just from playing chess. Like, oh, if I move these pieces in this order, I lose a game in 2 moves.
I definitely don't have any kind of like strategies or like plays. You know, that's a thing too. I think after playing a bunch, you learn like, oh, every once in a while, if I'm able to pull off this little zip zap zooey, you win, or you get a lot of, you know, an advantage. But I don't have any of those like memorized. I just kind of know where the pieces go and try to make a choice each turn. That's about as good as I'm at.
Yeah.
At it.
You would probably have fun playing chess against somebody who hasn't seriously researched chess or anything like that, but like
I would, yeah.
the person who I was playing against, Austin, Zone Dog, friend of the show, guest on the show sometimes, but he's like, I swear to God, he's watched like Magnus Carlsen play games and like studied the moves and shit because
he just watched you know, he watched
Bobby
Queen's
Fischer.
Gambit like 4 times, and that's why he's so good. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch that Netflix show. Now he knows everything about chess.
Now he's a chess master. He is the queen.
He makes us call him that too, which I respect, but it seems kind of like thinks he's a big shot.
I wish the Queen's Gambit were about Gambit from X-Men, and he's throwing chess pieces instead of playing cards and making them explode people or whatever.
Checkmate, Shari.
Yeah. Oh, my chérie. I can't do a very good
Me neither.
it's not a it's not, is that a Cajun accent like he has? Like it's like the French.
I could be wrong. I mean, this is my child memory, but I thought it was like slightly Cajun, but maybe it's French.
It's French Cajun because Cajun, I mean, in Louisiana,
I guess they're kind of.
Louisiana was was a French colony for a very, very long time, so a lot of French culture, it sort of like was, you know, happening in Louisiana back in like those days, and then like that's where you get like that sort of Cajun accent sometimes. But there's also like more than one type of Cajun accent. Like there's like the weird, like, no, what's the accent Daniel Craig's doing in Knives Out? That's not Cajun. That's something else. That's like Foghorn Leghorn almost.
Like Foghorn Leghorn. I'm not sure anyone talks like that for real in the world, unless they were like a plantation owner. Like
Yeah.
300 years ago or something.
There's a word for that though. It's like I usually know it off the top
Southern
of my head.
gentleman.
Yeah, but Daniel.
It's kind of like a weird like Southern Parisian like thing, I think.
You know what? I googled it. They say it's a distinctive Kentucky accent.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Is that how Colonel Sanders sounded? I want to believe it.
I have to assume, but I don't know.
Although he was probably more like, "Eat my fucking chicken." I don't know, something like that.
Eat this chicken. Make my business run. And then Norm Macdonald
One of
comes
those people
in.
that could only create a business when cameras didn't exist yet and no one knew who you were.
Yeah. I'm the Colonel. And hey, do we have to call you the Colonel? You just make chicken. No. Colonel.
I was discharged from the military, and now I make chicken.
I make a chicken now. I put the bread on the chicken. It's real good.
I have a bunch of secret spices and flavors that I sprinkle on the chicken, and then get this. This is the crazy part. I put it in a bucket. Okay.
And I drizzle mashed potatoes, gravy on top of that thing. Woo! Oh boy, the internet's hitting a red. What is going on?
Well, we'll keep trying. We were having some issues. That's why the show started a little late. So
Yeah.
we're giving it a go. If for some reason it craps its pants, you know, may have to go.
Yeah.
We do our best until then, though.
Gotta love it. Can't get the internet to work for the past, month. It's great!
Yeah, it's been giving you a run for your money.
It sure has. I feel like I just need to live not here in order to make the internet work. I don't
Might help.
think having 4 people share the same internet connection is causing issues every once in a while.
Just move in here.
Yeah.
Come on
Don't
over.
charge me rent?
Oh, I'll charge you rent.
Okay, well, never mind then.
All right. Then don't move in here.
I will not. Alright, we're back in the green. Oh, and it's yellow. And it's back in the red. And it's back in the orange. And it's back. I don't know. Who fucking cares?
You can't watch it.
No. This entire episode of DrawBomb is just going to be me staring at the latency bar and seeing how it
Just
jumps
saying
around.
colors out loud.
Yeah. You know, I just realized that I filled this rack up with bowling balls, but if this were a poppin' bowling alley,
You'd be missing a few.
I'd be missing a few. Brandon!
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something else.
Well, go ahead then.
No, I forget it. That's the reason I I
no.
didn't.
Problem.
I know. What the hell? I like this
Do you like
bomb
to
guy.
bowl?
I do. You know, I do like to bowl. I'm not good at it. I'm no good at it, but I have bowled a fair amount. Back in high school, I used to get math tutoring from a fellow high school student, and we became friends just, because I'm an affable guy. We were hanging out, and this tutor liked to bowl quite a bit and was very good at it. And so they would invite me out to go bowling on occasion, and I would go with them, and I would suck, but they would bowl almost perfect games, and they would.
You're like,
they were.
can you teach me some math? And they're like, after this game, let's go bowling. And you're like, okay, this seems. You say so, I guess.
Alright. And then he's like, yeah, you see, if you take the spin ratio and you apply it to the lack of friction on the ball with the glide coefficient,
Then you get a hole-in-one. And you're like, can I have my money back, please?
actually, I didn't pay the
Yeah,
money.
stew going.
And,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it was like a volunteer school thing. They were just like, yeah, we found a student who's willing to tutor. There you go. And they were very good at math. They ran a server for a fucking MMO or something like that, and did code for it and things. I don't know.
Wow.
I remember them showing it to me and being like, damn, dude, you're actually a genius. Yeah. We also had a running joke where we would start singing Godzilla from the Blue Oyster Cult at each other, but at random, and try and catch the other person off guard. So we'd just be sitting there, and then we'd turn them and go, oh, whoa, there goes Tokyo, go, go, Godzilla.
I was gonna guess if that was the part. That
Yeah.
it's-
After a while, we would end up just doing it at the same time. We'd both turn to each other at the same time, impromptu, and go, oh, whoa.
Tokyo would go at the same time.
Yeah, Tokyo would disappear, and the spinning high-tension wires would go. Brandon, do you bowl?
Also not well. I would say for me, bowling is kind of like I don't bowl regularly. I'd say I bowl maybe like twice a year at max,
Okay.
and that's a year that's like that's a year where I really bowled extra.
When's
I'd
the
say
last time you
once
bowled?
a year is the average. I bowled like I think like 5 or 6 months ago.
More recent than I can
Did a
say.
bowl.
bowl.
But for me, it's kind of like if you've ever played like, I'm trying to think of an example, like cornhole or some kind of like yard games. It's like something where the more I play it, like if I play for an hour, I play 3 games. The third game is gonna be my best one. Like it's just like I keep kind of honing it in a little bit each time. So if you were to go like all the time, that would make a big difference. But since I go like once a year, I'd forget how to play. And then by the end of the like 3 games we play, I remember how to play, but then I don't do it again for a year and I'm back to where I was at.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. I never hold on to any kind of skill that.
Well, I mean, every skill is something you have to, it's a muscle. You have to exercise it or it atrophies. That's like every skill.
That's true. That's true.
Like if I take a
that
break
one-
from drawing for a while, like when I come back to it, I have the hardest time ever. But if I've been drawing for like a week straight, like I just like finish a drawing no problemo.
I'm aware that's true for everything, but I think because it's more of a not as physical of a sport, a lot of it is muscle memory type stuff. Like
Yeah.
if I were to go out and try to play basketball, I'm not saying like after 3 hours I'm good at basketball, like that's not gonna happen. But like, and I'm also not great at bowling at the end either. But I'm just saying like. I see a dramatic uptick in like me knowing how to bowl after just doing it for a short while, because I'm like, okay, it keeps going to the right, so I'm gonna turn my hand a little to the left this time.
Right.
Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm gonna go a little bit further to the left. Okay, now I'm getting close. Now I'm gonna use the diamond to the left instead of this diamond I was standing at, and then just like I'm like slowly tweaking my game until by the end it's like kind of honed it in a little bit.
Gotcha. I mean, I feel...
no!
Oh no, what?
Spawn F got us again.
Oh dear.
The same word.
It's the sequel. Well, guess I might as well get the timer going.
I guess we should. I'll try to do better this time. You put up the video and I watched it today and I failed 8 times.
I watched it again. I still only counted 6.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 you didn't get because a couple went by and I'm like waiting for the timer. And I'm like, oh fuck! Just did it.
Huh. You're gonna have to send me a timestamp on that because I've watched that video like 8 times and I still only found those 6.
I'll watch it again to make sure.
Alrighty.
I already screwed up one time just now.
Well, we haven't started
you
the
said
timer
that.
yet. Yeah, we're gonna. I'll let you know
great
when we
news.
start the timer, and I'm gonna start the timer now.
Okay.
So watch yourself.
I will.
Ready. But yeah, I haven't bowled in, God, I don't think I've bowled since high school.
I thought you were bolder than that. Nah,
Haha.
never mind. I tried something there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I tried. I haven't. I've been to a bowling alley more recently, but when I got there, I was meeting up with friends to go somewhere else, so it wasn't a situation where I was going there and then bowling. Although no,
Sometimes I
wait,
go to
hold
a
on.
bowling alley.
That's not true, actually. I remember I went bowling back that year when you first visited me. That those like roommates I was living with at that time, I
Oh.
did go bowling with them. Did I say
Said
the word? Oh no.
You did.
I don't even realize I'm saying it because it's that damn filler.
I know. It's so built in.
Yeah. That's why these IRL word bands are good, is so that we can catch ourselves and be more aware and Modify our
Brain.
behavior. Like when I told myself I was gonna swear less, which...
You just said it again.
Yeah, you're right, I did. I said it's blank when I...
Mhm.
But that time it wasn't a filler word. That is actually... So it's... It's interesting because, you know, the situations where I don't want to use that word are when it's a filler word, but there are also some situations where it is just the best word to use, and that's not the point of the IRL word ban. The point of the IRL word ban is to not use it at all. But yeah, when I cut the highlight, I'll keep a counter of myself on this one. Yeah, I went bowling with those roommates at that time. We did a night of
gotcha.
bowling.
Sometimes, if there's like, oh shit. Sometimes I have groups of friends that go bowling, and I go to hang out, but I don't bowl.
Yeah, I'm not like actively
also
seeking
happened.
out. Like the only time I said it again. The only time I will, I did it again. Good gosh. The only time I will say, hey guys, let's go bowling, is if we're desperate for something to do and like we're all trying to hang out. I think I just said it again. God, I'm gonna have a
What's wrong
hell of
with
a
you?
time with this highlight. I don't know. I had such a perfect score from that highlight video of last
Yeah.
week, and I've completely tarnished my legacy as reigning champ of the IRL word bans.
I've messed up a few times, but I'm trying to redeem myself because that video was a shame for me.
My favorite part of that video is there's a moment towards the end, the last two that I counted, is you say, I really blank, you really blank, and then you just don't finish the sentence. Like you started to say, you wasted two of those words. And I said it again. Oh no! Well, this is just going swimmingly. But this is why we do these.
That's good that I said it and it was for no reason.
Yeah.
Just to lose more.
Just increase the shame.
You wouldn't think that I would need help with that, but I'm like, oh,
You did it again!
I know. I talk. I almost did it, but I stopped myself.
I might just redeem
Talk
this.
similar to a robot to not do it.
You know what's unfortunate?
Trying to talk slow.
You're trying to think about your words more carefully before you say them. But, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh well. No, I'm gonna start redeeming this ban myself, at least once an episode, because I think it's
Oh,
something to work on. Because I did at some point decide I want to curse less. Because, and not that you can tell because I still swear all the time. But my swearing is a lot more intentional nowadays. And I think
that's good.
yeah. I decided to try and cut down on my swearing just because I didn't like that. There it is again. And the timer just ended. And that time it wasn't a loan word. That time I was just saying I did not appreciate the way the swearing made me sound. Timer's over, by the way. We're good. We can say like as much as we want now. But I'm still gonna try and not use it as a filler word. Anyways, but like, I did try and I did try and cut down on my swearing because I didn't like the way swearing is good for emphasis, but if it's just like peppered throughout your sentences, you kind of sound less
Dumb.
enjoyable to listen to. Is really just what it is. I don't enjoy listening to that as much.
Same. I think it's I like swearing. I think it's like a nice like spice. Like
Yeah.
you add a little something, but only when it's intentional. If it's just slipping out and you can't stop yourself from swearing, and it's like just like so built in that it's almost like a filler word, then you got some troubles. Well,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, maybe not everybody feels that way, but I feel like you don't sound as Yeah, I guess you described it perfectly. Like, it's difficult to listen to just sometimes when people can't say anything without slipping in like fucking every other word.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't want to like judge. There's the filler word again.
No.
I don't want to judge.
It's not necessarily
anybody
a judgment. It's just, yeah.
I just don't like hearing it as much. And I found that I enjoy like, there it is, that filler word. I found that I don't enjoy. I enjoy like, fucking Christ. I found that I enjoy this like the replacement swear words. Yeah, you know, I don't remember what the word is for those, but it's not a euphemism, but it's instead of saying fuck, you say frick. That to me is more enjoyable to listen to. It's kind of more I don't know. I don't have a word for it, but
More
I would
endearing.
rather more endearing. Thank you. That's the exact word I was looking for. For instance, friend of the show, guest on the show, Kyle, will sometimes say muffins instead of like a swear word if he's frustrated, and I enjoy hearing that infinitely more than hearing somebody just go fuck, you know? Go muffins.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Squaniff says, guess who's at 850 channel points right now? They're gonna hit us with another one of these IRL word bans any moment now.
They've given up on saving up for a Defoe.
Yeah. Well, we drew a free Defoe for them, didn't we? So
That's true. Yeah.
they got their money's worth.
One Defoe on the house.
Yeah. So yeah, and also, one thing I've found about our use of the word like as a filler word is not only do I say it, but I've realized after I watched the highlights and I noticed that it was a word that I use as a filler word way too much, is I thought about it and I tend to type the word like in when I'm typing like text chat, and it's more intentional when I do that, obviously, because you have to type the word out and sometimes you want to structure the sentence properly, so you like move it around, but it's still a word I use even as a filler word when I'm typing, but I use it for emphasis at those points. Usually I'll include the like if I feel like it enhances the sentence, you know what I mean? There's like those rare instances where it makes sense to say like, because I don't know. I don't have a good example off the top of my head. In general,
I understand what you're saying.
yeah. You can punctuate sentences with it. Same with the swear word.
Yeah, I use it too, but not nearly as much. Typing.
Still, I'd like to use it as a loan word. Much, much less.
That's fair. I struggle with that, and I'm a good amount too, but mostly like I say but whatever. Same thing.
Kyle and Austin have both. They have they haven't done it lately, not in a while, but they did used to do it where, and I still see myself doing this, but when I'm gonna say something and I want to sort of create space for me to speak, I will start with but and the joke that Kyle and Austin would do is I would say but and they'd go ch. So it'd be but ch, like a rim shot.
Yeah, I understand.
And it made me more aware of me going, but and when I watch the show and I do the highlights, I see myself doing it so frequently.
Did you appreciate that when they did that, or was that annoying to you?
I did not like it.
I thought maybe.
So interesting thing about the internet, I'm not keeping an eye on it like crazy, but I've noticed that it seems to be, it hasn't completely kicked us out of the thing, but it seems to take a dip every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I mean, the internet, no one can help it. I mentioned this to you, I think, before we started the stream, but I was watching Pendleton Ward try and do a stream earlier today, and he was having connection issues, and I was trying to help him. Trying to be like, hey, try resetting your router. I don't know, I run into this shit all the time, Pen. I can't help you. But
bummer that you can create Adventure Time and still there's nothing you can do to get good internet in some places.
Yeah, it's just you're at the whims of the internet companies and radio waves, or the waves that, you know, create Wi-Fi. Unless I guess you plug yourself directly into the fucking Ethernet port, which gives you a pretty solid connection in those situations.
I do that.
I wish I could at this house, but we would have to drill like a bunch of holes through ceilings and floors,
Yeah.
walls. So
Why
not
aren't
gonna
your
do
parents down to do that? Come on.
that. Yeah, don't your parents want to drill some holes in the house they're trying to sell? But oh well.
And you do.
What can you do? But like,
Like, I know.
but have any games caught your fancy recently?
Ooh, I've been playing Stardew Valley again with some coworkers. That's been fun. And I also started that Minecraft server
Right.
with you're invited as amongst some other people.
Yes.
Basically, we're attempting a fully every man for himself PvP server where like, you know, no one's safe. Because I go through waves of being interested in Minecraft for like couple months, and then I'm bored of it for like years, and then I come back and play it again. And so we're just, in order to kind of revitalize it, we're trying to do it this way where it's like you always kind of got to look over your shoulder and, you know, play like a whole different way. And that's been fun so far. It's been kind of exciting, like, you know, living in a hole and being scared to come out, and then like when you're out, you're like running around trying to grab resources so you can get back to your hole before you're like ready to fight. So I've been enjoying that so far.
Nice. I'm excited to play some of that server, and I figured I'd stream it sometimes when I'm in it, in case you know, some wacky shit
You might get
goes down.
stream sniped by other people in the server.
So true. That's a good point.
But doesn't mean you shouldn't.
No, yeah, of course. It's interesting that you brought up the Minecraft. This is going to be a tangent, so if there's anything else you want to talk about the Minecraft thing, save yourself. Okay.
Dig
you know,
in.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube as I work, because a lot of YouTube is just people taking footage that is not their own and like doing commentary and stuff over it, and that's fine. I watched that 3-hour like video about the Hobbit speedruns.
Oh, you watched the whole thing, did you?
I watched the entire thing. I watched it beginning to end, and I commented on the video because I've been commenting a lot of YouTube videos lately, just saying nice things to the people who made the videos, because I know that it helps them with the algorithm and.
Not only that, but I mean, as a creator, feedback's great.
Yeah.
Makes you know, all of us feel like we're actually doing something.
Yeah. So you know, if I'm trying to be that member of the community that I want to see other people be, so you know, I try to lead by example. Anyways, so one of the channels I've been watching is Kira TV. He mostly talks crypto scams, but like and there it is again. In the beginning, he mostly talked about MMO RPGs because that was his sort of topic his channel was originally focused on. And so just out of curiosity, I watched, he has a playlist of about 20 or so videos about Amazon Game Studios New World MMO. You know about that one?
And I know the one. I played it for a second. Me and Kyle did.
It looks fun. It looks. I kind of watching those videos made me want to try it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think I. Where do I have it through? Is it through Steam? I don't know. You
can't do it because I've watched the videos. I can tell you the info on that is you can't do Steam Family Share with New World. If you could in the beginning, but they had such an issue with like hackers and people creating like Smurf accounts and things like that. So what they did was, if you played the game through Family Share on a friend's Steam account, they actually gave you a free copy of the game, which is actually kind of cool to do. Yeah, so I missed that boat. But anyways, the game looks fun. I'm kind of intrigued, and I'm interested in trying it out if it still is, like, apparently they're losing players like crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of lacking a lot of things that it needed at launch, and I haven't been back since, but
so
it might be worth checking out again.
One thing that's interesting about New World, and I didn't know about this until I watched this entire series of videos, is that originally New World was going to be an open world PvP survival craft game like the Minecraft server you're setting up.
Yeah.
And then they
still left a lot of PvP in it, but it's not required.
Yeah. It's all in like instanced zones, or you can turn on PvP mode while you're walking around.
Yeah. And there's
But-
incentives to do so, but a lot
Yeah.
of people don't.
Originally, there weren't going to be enemies, like computer enemies to fight. Right?
No
I think
PvE.
No PvE. It was going to be strictly like you're thrown into this like server. You have to make your
Right.
base, and somebody could fucking kill you and steal your like exactly like the Minecraft server, which sounds like it would have been a really, really fun game. And that's actually what led to it having so little content when it first came out, is because
Right.
they shifted focus a year, and like they were gonna release it a half a year after they completely shifted gears, and then they delayed it because they didn't have shit for it. But yeah, the lack of content is because of that, and it's a shame too, because the original concept for the game wouldn't have drawn in as many people, because that's a very sort of niche genre. But
What, John?
moving on. But yeah, so New
Yeah,
World.
Kyle played a ton of it. I played a decent amount, but Kyle really got into it for a while, and then like the economy was kind of broken, so it kind of
Yes.
killed it for a lot of people.
The economy broke again. Watching like, cause this guy just basically recapped the whole history of the game till about June, I want to say, of this year, and that was.
How's
his
the
last
game doing
video.
now?
Well,
Have they
they've
fixed
lost
some of the things.
They've lost over 90% of their player base.
Right. I know, like maybe people aren't playing it anymore, but I'm curious, like, have they at least like fixed some of the things that were like making it shitty, or not really?
I mean, they're working on it. They've taken steps, positive steps. Anytime they release an update for the game nowadays, it does seem to bring positive improvements to the game, according to this channel that I watched. I can't speak
Okay.
from experience. But it's one of those situations where if they had released the game in a more finished state, they wouldn't be having
Might-
these issues right now, you know?
It had an amazing launch. Like it had like a kind of a record-breaking launch in some ways. So like,
Yeah.
honestly, like I know it is still losing most of its player base, and it's not like. But when you have such a huge launch, you're still going to have a huge drop off like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it was great.
Every MMO tends to have a big like group of people at the beginning, and then the players dwindle out, and then usually from what I understand, a good retention rate is about 30% of your players. That's like realistic and good for you, because those are players who are willing to. And then basically, depending on what model you do, if you do like a cash shop, those 30% of players are going to give money to the cash shop, or at least you hope so, and that finances the game. Or you release DLC, and then that brings back those old players. They come back, they buy the DLC, they play for a little bit. And that's sort of like what you... There's two ways you can go about it, but...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Real quick side note. Why do you think arcades and bowling alleys have carpet like that? Is that like in case somebody like vomits on the floor, it makes it easier to...
That's always been my assumption.
Is it hide the mess? Is that the idea?
I think so, yeah. Like it was
Like
very
somebody
busy.
spilled nachos and you can't tell if that's actually the carpet design or if somebody spilled nachos all over the place.
Yeah, like, oh, is this a big watermelon slushy stain, or is this just this psychedelic
design
pattern?
choice.
Yeah. Which is smart. I mean, that's working smart, not hard.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'd love to try out New World sometime if it's like still in existence and I have
Decide to
cash to
dig
drop.
in. Let me know. I'll try it with you.
Because I hear the combat
What was
is
my
good.
guy's name? My guy's name was Javier Cilantro.
Nice.
He was,
Were you a chef?
It was fun.
Did you do any crafting in that game?
I did some crafting. The game is like very focused on crafting.
Yeah, I hear the crafting system is one of its main positives.
It really is. Like,
Yeah. I hear the combat system is good too, and when I watched the videos of it, it looked like a good dynamic combat system. It looked like a fun game. It's just a shame that they fucked up, and
it was pretty fun.
yeah. I hope they get more content. I mean, I do like MMOs, especially ones where I don't have to pay a subscription fee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a bonus.
But also, MMOs are also a very... I like MMOs, but I almost like the concept of MMOs more
Yeah, I was
because
just
the
gonna say,
execution.
I want to like them more than I do.
Yeah, there's a new one that's supposedly coming out, because and again, this is all info I'm getting from this channel, so I'm not like an expert on MMORPGs or anything like that. I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos from a guy who claims to be an expert, and he seems pretty knowledgeable. He's a very level-headed and reasonable person as well, which is why I like his videos. But South Korean developers tend to make the most MMOs. They have that market pretty much cornered. But Western developers, like in America or Europe or whatever, people have been sort of hoping for, because it's such a cornered market in South Korea. Like, somebody could develop a game that works differently, an MMO that's not the same as all the others, but that's taking a risk, So what you're gonna get out of a lot of South Korean MMO developers is a lot of the same games. Or they're just already running an MMO and they don't have a reason to make more. But
right.
Western developers, they haven't tried to tackle the genre as much, especially not since WoW. But people in the MMO space are very, very desperate for a Western developed MMO, and also just MMOs that do different gameplay in general.
That's what I'm interested in. It's like something that kind of mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah, I hear there's one. I guess they announced they dropped a trailer during Gamescom or whatever the most recent games trailers extravaganza was. There's a new one coming out called.
I feel like I saw the trailer, but I can't. It's not ringing a bell what it was.
I want to say it's called Arcade. Let me just look it up real quick.
There's a zombie survival MMO coming out that I feel like for some reason it's gonna end up being bad, probably because it looks really good, and
Yeah.
I just always get my hopes up for stuff that doesn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, that's
But
why I've just stopped watching.
It looks cool. It's like, you're running around a city and like they show a guy in a shop, and then also a group of guys run in who are like talking, chatting, like just like hanging out, playing together, and he hides behind like a aisle, and they're like grabbing some stuff, and I don't know, it's just kind of seems fun, like a zombie or like apocalyptic world MMO thing where you have to like, I don't know, kind of hide and skulk around, stuff like that. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Ashes of Creation, I think, is the one I'm talking about.
I think I heard about that, but I don't remember anything about it.
From what I understand, people are really excited for or very hopeful for Ashes of Creation. Titans.
Lotus Clock says the only MMO I played was MapleStory back in the day, a classic. I never played it myself, but I'm aware of it.
You're talking about the day
No,
before.
quite.
Is your game, by the way?
Yep, that is the one.
It comes
But
out September 1st. It says, according to this article. I doubt it's out right now. It's probably
No, it got pushed back.
always does.
Yeah, but whatever. I'm okay with things getting pushed back. Push it all
I
back.
prefer it,
Whatever,
yeah.
it's fine.
Make
Make
it better.
good. I don't I don't need it now. Give me it when it's ready. I have other things to do.
Yeah. Oh my God, I've got such
Play
a
it when it's
backlog.
ready.
Delay
Yeah,
your game
play it
as
when it's
long
ready.
as you
Don't-
need to.
Seriously, I won't be upset at all. But yeah, so I don't know. That one looks interesting, but it's a bummer that I'm so jaded that I'm like already expecting to be disappointed. But I don't know. It makes it hurt less. There's a few games that I buy the hype and then I'm always like, why'd I do that to myself? You're muted.
In general, I don't like when I see trailers for movies or games. I use it basically as a reference in my mind to remember that it exists, but I don't put any stock into whether it's going to be good or bad because it's too much of a.
I
You don't
mostly
know.
don't anymore. Every once in a while, one slips through, and you've seen me get excited about things.
Oh yeah, and you
Bummed
usually
out.
say the same thing. Like when Cyberpunk was coming out, you were like, "This is the
one's
last game.
one.
This is the last game I'll ever have to play." And I'm like, "Why would you ever want to play one game forever? Like, don't do that."
Man, did I say that? That's
You did.
embarrassing now.
be
But,
fair though, I
yeah.
mean, Cyberpunk was made by a very, very lauded
That was what I
developer.
thought. I trusted them.
CD Projekt Red. They were known for making great open world games, and then they, I guess
They kind
and
of
also,
like were the ones to raise the bar
yeah.
the previous time they did it. So I was like, okay, so they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna push the envelope, and this is gonna be like the best thing that's out, for now. And then they didn't.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
I mean, was Cyberpunk even good after the bugs? I don't know.
It's okay for what it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
You gotta go
not
in just looking for
revolutionary.
like a fun like open world shooter with some minor RPG elements, and it's fun, sure. But
Sounds great
it's
to me.
nothing like super. Once the like kind of like I was enjoying it quite a bit when I played it, but the once the kind of allure wore off, I kind of put it down and I uninstalled it now. But I imagine I will complete it one day. How's the internet?
It's it right now.
Yeah, as I could tell on the stream as well as on your video.
Great.
Maybe it's a one drawing show today.
I don't know, man.
I'm not, I know you're discouraged, but I'm not like upset or anything with,
I
I
the only
understand how it
issue
goes.
is
You know what I mean?
I do, but the only issue is it's like, how do I fix this? And because it's not just for like tonight, it's for future. Like we haven't been able to do a full episode of Dungeons and DrawBombs.
That's true.
Because this shit keeps fucking up. So it kind of just ties my hands, I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I know. I guess I'm just trying to like make you feel better, but there's no way to say anything that will. And
Yeah.
if I were in your position, I would be very, very frustrated too. So I
Yeah.
should probably stop trying to
Yes.
come up with reasons for you to be okay with it. Well,
I don't
should
know.
we finish this drawing and then?
No, I don't like. Whatever. Let's just keep going.
Okay. Are we live still?
Yes. I mean, the video quality is probably terrible, but we are currently sending
Okay,
out
cool.
kilobytes.
On mine it had stopped, so I had to refresh it. Alright. So if you're gonna pick a bowling ball, don't pick the one with the face that you have to stick. What, do you stick your thumb in the mouth, or do you stick your other fingers in the mouth?
Well, I was gonna draw faces on all. Did we originally
No,
talk
I
about
know. That
having
was the
these?
plan. I know. I just
Okay.
because there's only one right now. That's the reason I was saying like,
Gotcha.
if that's my options, I'm not gonna pick the one with teeth.
Yeah. No, thank you. It just like sucks on your thumb as you're about to bowl it.
Like, oh, I gotta keep using the little dryer thing because I got spit all over my hands. You ever use that? There's like a little. They have a specific air thing just for
Oh yeah.
hand sweat. You know what's fun is before COVID, I don't think it ever clicked for me that I was sticking my fingers into random bowling balls and then like eating pizza and nachos and shit.
Yeah. Right.
So that's
It's-
gross. But I
COVID
was
has
doing
made
it.
us all more hyper aware of germs and their spread.
It's true. But, so I guess that's a good change.
Hey. Maybe more folks will wash their hands properly. Who knows?
If
I-
other people wash their hands, then I don't have to wash mine. So everybody do that.
My hope has always been that looking for like when COVID first hit, a bright side I was hoping for was that maybe it would encourage people to wear masks more when they get the flu, like countries over in Japan
Right.
and China do, because that's
Smart.
good to do.
Considerate.
Yeah, it's considerate. I doubt it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I never really wore masks ever. Been sicknesses before, but I will
Well, that's
now.
because I'm gonna do it now, but as a society, like before, like for me, it's at least
it wouldn't be socially acceptable either. Like,
Yeah.
which is silly, but like if I went into like a job and tried to wear a mask, they'd be like, "Get that! What are you doing? Take that off."
yeah. Or if you went into a store,
But now you're allowed.
they'd think you were trying to rob the place. But now you have a little bit of an extra leeway. You can say, "I'm fucking sick."
With the
they-
store thing, you might get some looks, but I think everybody would leave you be. But I'm saying, specifically, like, if you're working a job and you're just feeling, I mean, first off, just call in. But if you can't, that's not always available to everybody. So
Yeah.
I won't just say it's that simple. But now you could wear a mask to work most places, and your job would be like understanding.
Yeah, but I mean, most
And before
stores,
they might be like, hey, you're making us look bad.
most stores pre-pandemic would not let you wear a mask. Like they would say,
Oh,
take
maybe
that
that's
fucking
true in
mask
like
off.
cities.
But
But I don't feel like that would have been true where I'm at. I don't feel like I've seen people wear masks.
Before pandemic, you think somebody who's working in like a shitty shop is gonna see somebody walk in with a mask and think they're not trying to rob the place?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I've seen so many,
maybe
like
not.
before pandemic, I saw so many places saying like, take your hood. Like there are, like I would see stores that would say no
I
hoodies.
still see, yeah.
Yeah.
I still see that, yeah.
So it's like if even a hoodie is like gonna make people suspicious, a mask is gonna
fair.
do a lot worse.
That's
But nowadays we have a little bit of leeway.
Now we can finally rob stores with reckless abandon.
That's right.
If this these shading I'm putting on the balls is messing up what you're planning on doing, I can stop it.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, if you want to put faces on those
Sweet.
balls too.
Yeah, I'll help with that.
Yeah, I might just have to, I called the internet company this morning. Right now our connection's good, knock on wood. But I did call the internet company this morning and had them do the whole thing I did last week. And they said if the problem keeps happening, have a technician come out.
Yeah, I've had to do that before and it fixed it. I mean, remember when I used to host DrawBomb, there was like a month where we were having the same issue, and then the guy came out and he's like, the wire that your internet comes through is melted. I don't know if it got struck by lightning or something, but he's like, that will like kill your everything by like 90%. And he just replaced it, and like they had like 3 technicians come out, none of them can figure it out, and then finally the last guy just came out and fixed it like easily, and then my internet has been like the best internet I've ever had since.
We had a technician come out at the beginning of the summer and just replace our modem. Just replace the whole modem. And so I'm a little frustrated because we just had a technician come out and it was fine for a couple months. But I'm gonna have to like send for a technician again. Like fucking make your internet work. I don't know.
Right. That's pretty
Ridiculous.
annoying. And then they also do the thing where they're like, we'll send a technician out, and I had to ask them because it wasn't in the budget at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, does that cost me anything? And they're like, only if we find out that there's nothing wrong or it's a you problem.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, so you're the one who gets to decide whether there's something wrong or not. I'm telling you there's something wrong. You think I just calling you out because I'm lonely?
I
can understand if they came out and like your modem wasn't plugged in or something stupid like that, but if it's just like the service not working.
Can I get recompensated for all of the moments that my internet wasn't working? Because I was paying for the internet during those moments, but I wasn't getting what I was paying for. Can I get money back for every second y'all fucked up my internet? No? Oh no.
There will only be an exchange of money if it's money going to them. If it's the other way around, no, sorry. Price of doing business.
And the worst part is that I can't yell at. Like, I'm not gonna yell at the fucking customer support person. Like, they have nothing to do with it.
Right, it's not their fault.
Not their fault. As much as I did express my frustration to them, but I did it very nicely. I said, I'm just frustrated because, etc., etc., etc. I said it's actively affecting my business, because I'm calling this my business.
Well, I mean, you do a lot of work online. I mean, even not just DrawBomb, but like actual things that pay you.
Yeah.
And
but
you need internet.
Yeah, although saying like we have frequent dropouts, someone would probably be like, well, you can still upload a Word document. But if I say it's affecting my business, and I just kind of leave it at that, I don't need to say, I do a live stream show for 3 people. And it's fucking that up. But I did say it's fucking up my Zoom calls and my Discord calls, because it was actively doing that for my mom, who has to do Zoom calls with her school. So, I don't know. I threw a lot of facts and a little bit of massaging and details in there. Just to let them know I was frustrated.
did what you had to do.
Lotus Clock says, like, sounds like store robberies are everyday events in the U.S. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of people. I've never been in a store robbery, and I've never had a store I worked in robbed, but you know.
Right.
7-Elevens tend to get hit the most because there's just so many of them, and 7-Elevens themselves don't give a shit about their employees. But nowadays, most places don't even keep cash in the register just because then that makes the robbery less likely.
And also, there's like insurance, so like, if you're being robbed, you're supposed to just kind of like let it go.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Which makes sense. Like, I mean,
yeah.
fuck. Like, if I'm gonna go fight a guy in a parking lot over to help Target's bottom line or whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, not a chance.
This scooter belongs to the Walton family. Put it back.
Or there's gonna be trouble.
I'm the fighter of justice, and I'm gonna defend this corporation that pays me pennies to the dollar.
I mean, I will protect capitalism to my dying breath.
Yeah. It's definitely done a lot of good for me.
Yeah, it's designed to help me. And maybe one day I'll be a billionaire. That's the dream. That's what keeps me getting out of bed.
My favorite quote is still, I think Futurama still summed it up just beautifully, but there's that one scene where Fry's waiting in line with a bunch of people or whatever. He's like, look at these stupid, dumb people, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're just dumb poor or whatever. And then Leela says, Fry, you're just as poor as these guys. And then Fry says, yeah, but someday I'm going to be a millionaire. And when that happens, people like me better watch their step. I'm like, that's
the whole mentality, though.
That's entirely the mentality. It's so beautifully summarized.
It's funny.
I think about that quote every time I see somebody defending capitalism.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. Well, that show wasn't written by a bunch of geniuses for nothing.
They do a good job.
I mean, that's a show that actually did, like, they would have an episode about, like, scientific calculations, and then they had the writers actually figure out the calculation. Like, there's an episode where they created a math problem and then solved it for the writer's room so that they could write the episode. It's the episode where Fry's body is, like, it's like a Freaky Friday situation where their bodies get swapped. And, or Farnsworth presses a lever, and what it does is everyone's bodies gets, on, like, Earth, gets swapped. And so what the writers had to do is they actually had to create a formula to figure out how many times this swap would need to happen before everyone could get back into their original bodies. And the writers actually figured out the mathematical formula for that.
That's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of really great science jokes peppered in there. Like one of my other favorites is there's a joke about the observer effect, which the observer effect is a quantum theory that states that just by watching something happen, you're altering the outcome. Which is actually which has actually been proven, because I don't know the full details of it because I'm not a fucking scientist, but scientists have found that, like, looking at something actually does affect, like, light particles and things like that, and light particles have mass, so by looking at something you're effectively altering the light particles that, you know, act like that, like, interact with this object, and by looking at something you are effectively altering its state just a little bit.
That's wild.
But anyways,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called the observer effect. And in there's an episode where they're watching, like, an Olympics or something like that, and then they're talking about the observer effect, or there's some sort of setup where the observer effect is mentioned, and then a race happens, and then they're like, oh, and so-and-so beat so-and-so by a nose, and then Dr. Farnsworth goes, hey, no fair, you changed the result by observing it. And I always thought that joke was fucking hilarious.
Pretty clever. I like when jokes or when shows that are, like, trying to write smart characters actually do the research instead of just. Granted, the opposite's funny too. I mean, some people might think it's played out, but I do still kind of laugh at the whole, like, Rick and Morty, like, Rick is smart just cuz.
Yeah.
He's like the dumbest smart person there ever was.
He's
and,
just
like,
able
everything
to make
seems
portals.
effortless. And then he's just so smart that he couldn't even be bothered to explain any of it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a funny like cop out.
It's a great way to get out. It's like in Looper when Bruce Willis starts to talk to Joseph Gordon-Levitt about like all the time travel paradoxes and things like that, and then I think Bruce Willis goes, "Hey, we could sit here and write on napkins all day trying to figure this out, but we still have to figure this situation." And that's their way of saying, "Hey, time travel stuff is all wonky and confusing. Just roll with it. Turn your brain
Just don't
off."
think about it.
Yeah.
If you're here to do that, then you're not gonna have a good time. Just pretend like it exists for this for this, and let's move past that.
Which is Looper is a great movie, and that's such a great way of just sort of hand waving away because the moment you start trying to figure out time travel in the movie, like the logistics of it, it's not gonna happen. So I enjoy that Looper was smart enough to say, look, the time travel's gonna be fucked up. I don't care. Just have fun. It's a fun movie.
Not bother with that part.
Yeah. And then, I watched like a YouTube video or two where they're still complaining about the consistency of the time travel, and I'm like, fair, but fucking enjoy the movie, they said.
Right.
Like, we can't, it's impossible.
They called themselves out, so why should we do it too?
Yeah, the only movie that you're ever gonna get that's about time travel that's gonna be fucking rock solid is if you watch, what's the name of that fucking movie? Damn it. There's one movie where they actually scientifically, like the guy who wrote it is a scientist and or a mathematician, and he actually figured out like a way to make the loop, like his version of time travel in it. It's a very boring clinical movie.
Oh, okay.
Primer. It's called Primer. It's by the director and writer of Upstream Color, which was his next film, and I hear that was very good. I still haven't watched it myself, but I hear Upstream Color was very good. But Primer came out in 2004, and it's basically a bunch of scientists are working on one device, and they accidentally create time travel. And like basically what it is there's this big box with like magnets and shit, and you crawl under the box, and once you're inside that box, you start moving backward through time in real time. So if you want to go back 12 hours, you have to spend 12 hours under the box. And so these scientists figure this out and start trying to use this box to essentially like game the lottery or like solve like relationship issues with them. And it's a very clinical movie, so I almost fell asleep, and I also was too young, so I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. But that is a movie where some people have graphed out the trajectory of the time travel and like the past and future versions of themselves, and like that movie is solid. That movie was made with the intention, like the movie was specifically made with the intention of making a time travel movie that was consistent.
Lotus Clock says, does George McFly know his son and high school friend from 30 years before are the same person?
Yeah, right?
I mean,
yes.
You could maybe like be like, well, if you had this one guy that you knew for a week and then never saw him again for like 30 years or however long, like whatever, 20 years, how long before they have their kid.
Yeah.
You might be like, even if you were like, wow, they look alike, you don't have any photos of them, you only have your memory, you'd be like, okay, I'm crazy. Like, it's not identical. But they did really like, I'm gonna name that's a good name, let's name our son after him. So like that, you feel like that would raise some of those like, wait a minute.
The fact that they
fucking named him after that guy and they look identical from what I remember.
What would have actually solved that whole plot thread is if when Marty comes back to the present, he has a different name.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's you could, like, I've seen people who look dead ringers for other people. For instance, I got an ad on YouTube yesterday that was basically an episode of a web series that they basically paid money for ad space. So you're watching a YouTube video, all of a sudden it's a 50-minute video as an ad.
Right.
And the one guy who like pops in is a dead ringer for an uncle of mine who died years ago. And I was like, holy shit, that's wild. So you're just going to get people who... So you could argue, oh, when they saw Marty, they... But also...
And it would be 30 years before they would have that realization. I mean, like... He's just past, like, adolescence by, like, I don't know. I mean, if we're to believe he's the age that he is in the movie, he's probably, like, in his teens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, he just would start to finally look like that person. And they only, like I said before, they knew him for like a week.
Yeah.
and they don't have any photos or anything. You just have your memory. You wouldn't.
No.
I think you'd sooner be like, I'm crazy, than you'd be like, my son must have time traveled and helped us have sex and get together. That must have been what happened. Like, I don't think you'd jump to that conclusion ever.
I don't think you'd even jump to I'm crazy. You'd just be like, wow, they look a lot like that person. Wish I had a photo. you know, you wouldn't even have to say.
Just brush it off immediately.
Yeah, you just
brain
write it
would
off.
implode on itself if it, actually put that together somehow.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything else to this drawing?
No, I'm so done.
Okay, I'm gonna save it, and then you want to take a small break.
Take a small break. Internet's dipping in and out. It's dipping dots. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna have to roll with it.
Dippin' Dots.
Dots of the future, or ice
It's
cream.
the ice cream of the future.
It is. It's the ice cream of Marty McFly.
I can't wait till the future. Dippin' Dots finally are the ice cream of today.
Did you like Dippin' Dots, by the way? Like, they seem fine.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, it's
I
just
guess-
ice cream. It's just freeze dried, so it's just like a different consistency, but it tastes the same as soon as it melts.
Yeah. I like Dippin' Dots, but I guess I haven't seen a Dippin' Dots, but I think they're strictly like amusement park material. I don't think you see them outside of an amusement park.
I think they do sell them outside a little bit now, but still, it's like way more expensive for nothing, like the novelty. So like, there's no reason to buy it over normal ice cream, really.
Yeah, it's probably more expensive, and I have to assume it's more costly to make.
It is because they have like I forget I forgot, like, I've only watched like 2 episodes of Undercover Boss in my life, but one of them was a Dippin' Dots factory, and basically like it's all like, in order to freeze dry on that scale, it's like all this like nitrogen, like these giant nitrogen tanks and all this stuff like going on, and it's like quite the operation.
Seems like a bit of a waste.
Yeah. All right, I saved the drawing unless you're still making touch-ups.
I'm just filling in some color, missing color spots. It's fine. I don't care. We don't need to save this.
You're all good.
Updated version.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Run and use the bathroom, and then we'll be right back.
Alrighty. Hey, it's the folks. How we doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing so good. Loving my internet.
Yeah, you got a good one.
So good. So Spwanif had a very interesting redemption for us, which we ignored because we were just finishing up that last drawing. We didn't want to get bogged down, but Spwanif wants us to avoid the word So.
All right. Really, Spwanif, if you don't like us, you could just say that. You don't have to keep torturing us. But no, actually, that's another good one to practice not saying.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, I'm appreciating this. It's definitely not easy. You know what you're doing. So we're gonna try not to say the word.
You said it twice in the last few seconds.
I know. We're gonna try and we're gonna take out the words and okay.
Yeah.
There it is again. What we should do. Well, what we were talking about before we came back from break was what we're gonna draw next is, so I got accepted into the DALL-E 2 beta recently, and we could do what we've done before with like Midjourney, where we type a thing in and reinterpret whatever Midjourney is doing. But for I haven't started the timer yet. For this one though, for DALL-E 2, we could do that, but they also have this interesting feature which is a text language recognition model, or whatever it's fucking called. And what those are is they have various coded things, but you can type words in and it'll generate sentences based on it. So for instance, one of the things that you can load up is 2-sentence horror story creator, where what it does is you type in the topic and it creates a 2-sentence horror story based on that subject, which is fun. And I figured we could create some horror stories, maybe try and draw one of the ones that seems like it would be enjoyable to create. So we're gonna do that.
I hope we don't get too scared.
So real quick,
That
I'm
was
gonna go,
by the way, that was a not a so that's okay.
we haven't. Oh, we should start the timer. I'm gonna start the timer now. So no more uhs for the next 5 minutes at least.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna do, we haven't started yet. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in some sentences. I'm gonna switch over to the fridge for a hot second. We'll see what it's generating, and then we'll come back and we'll draw some of that stuff. So here we go. Timer
Sounds
starting.
Great.
Now, don't say that word anymore. You better not.
I wouldn't dare.
All right, so we're in the Dolly playground right now. Now, I didn't generate breakfast as a topic or wind. I didn't generate these. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in a topic and create a story.
I haven't tried this yet. I've seen you use it a few times, share the results, but I haven't seen it live, so I'm interested.
What's the topic?
I'm just singing real quick. That's all. I just like to sing. Singing. That's
Singing.
song music. I don't know how this works.
Pick one.
Music.
Music. Okay. Okay. So it says, I can't get the catchy tune out of my head no matter how hard I try, and the more I try to forget it, the more it seems to play on repeat in my mind.
That's a horror story I've been part of a time or two.
Boy. Earworms. Hey. So, I mean, technically, you could make a drawing of an earworm. So that's ultimately what it's about. For me, I'm gonna type the Babadook. Let's see if it makes a 2 cents horror story. Whoa, it's actually consistent with the plot of the movie.
Whoa.
The Babadook is coming for me. I can hear it scratching at my door trying to get in. That's what it does in the movies. It scratches at your door when it's trying to get in. That's very funny.
It loves to scratch.
It loves to scratch. Have you seen the Babadook, by the way?
I have.
Okay, great movie.
I thought I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it.
Saying it.
I really enjoyed. I did say it, didn't I? I really enjoyed the second time you get the picture book, where it's a more demented picture book and it features like the dog getting strangled and things like that. That whole picture book sequence is one of my favorite sequences, I think, in film. It's just so visually interesting and fun, and it just nails it, in my opinion.
I should watch it again. Maybe I'll put it on this Halloween season.
We should watch it as a group. I mean, sure, Zach hasn't seen it. I'd send it again.
Flick. Yeah,
That's a good flick.
You've been saying it a lot.
I know.
I struggle with like a lot more, but this one you struggle more. I'm finding.
Struggle with both. That's why Spawneth is getting us.
Boy, we're gonna be great speakers by the end of this.
Our oratory skills will be above those who have not practiced these challenges. Do you have any other words or subjects?
Shit. I'm saying it right now. Metamorphosis.
Okay. I wonder if it's going to bring up Kafka.
I hope it brings up Animorphs.
Yep. It's basically Kafka. I wake up to find myself transformed into an insect, a never-ending cycle of terror and confusion as
The description on the back of The Fly VHS.
The Fly.
I guess he didn't wake up as
No.
a fly.
He kind of gets... Just reading
He
through
knows
the
how he
first...
became a fly.
I'm just reading
Jeff
through the first...
Goldblum.
Oh, you go.
What?
Well, we both cut each other off.
Oh, sorry, you were cutting out a little bit.
Oh.
Mine.
Yeah, it's another dip in the internet. It's doing that thing. I'll call them tomorrow.
Doing that thing it do.
Doing that thing. Doing that thing, that thing, a thing. I'm just gonna have to call the fucking internet company tomorrow. This is ridiculous.
Call the internet. Say, hello, internet. Fuck you.
But yeah, I read the first page of the Metamorphosis. Those words described in the thing, not there. Timer's up on the IRL word ban. We can feel free to stammer and all we want. Also, nobody can see any of this because the internet is completely right now. So, anyways, what's another subject we could look up?
The swamp.
Swamp.
Does this use your credits at all?
Nope.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm lost in the swamp and it's getting dark. I can hear things moving around me in the water, and I know I'm not alone.
That's just like what would actually be scary about a swamp.
Yeah, most of these are just like, I'm in this situation and I'm scared. A lot of these sentences.
I'm in a swamp and I don't want to be.
I'm gonna try and come up with a real good subject. Door-to-door salesman. I can't get the image of the man's face out of my head. He was just a door-to-door salesman, but there was something about his smile that was just off. So, which of these
I like
do you want to draw?
how vague they kind of are.
Yeah.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of one more. About answering machine.
Okay. I wake up to find that my phone has been going off for hours. I check the caller ID and see that it's my own number. I have a bad feeling about this. Interesting.
That's actually a good one.
That is good. Yeah. I'm not sure how you draw it.
No, I wouldn't draw it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick that one, but I did a short story in college in a writing class where basically the story is, just to make a quick version of it, this guy gets a phone call, somebody blackmailing him for something he did in the middle of the night. So he like in a panic lies to his wife about where where he has to go, and he frantically like drives out to the middle of the woods with a shovel and starts digging. And as he's digging, the phone rings again, and the person is there, blackmail again. But then like they realize that it was a wrong number, and the guy's kind of like, my bad, and hangs up. But like the idea is like, oh, so he actually did do something horrible.
Right.
And he thought he was busted for it, but the guy who called him was meant to be talking to somebody else.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And I always thought that was kind of a fun little clever twist.
That's fun. One thing I'm gonna try out real quick is I noticed one time by accident I typed the subject into the actual line where it's supposed to generate the horror story, and what it did was it took the subject and then worked my sentence into its story. So what I've done is I've typed a subject matter, and now I've created the first sentence, and I want to see if it jumps off from my sentence.
All right.
So the topic is a big alien, and the horror story is the alien, or the first sentence I wrote is this: the alien and I stared lovingly into each other's eyes. See what happens. Oh, and it only wrote one sentence. So it's interesting. So it's still the two sentences, but my sentence is the first one.
Whoa.
So the alien and I. What?
I don't know. I just liked that result.
The alien and I stared lovingly into each other's eyes. I didn't know if it was the love or the hunger that would drive me to consume its entire body. So that's a twist. That makes you think the alien's gonna kill you, but person was the monster.
Or what if like the alien, like that's what it does? It makes you want to eat it. You just see it and you're just like, I have to eat this thing.
I feel like there's
and that's how it gets inside.
There's a horror movie like that, I think, where you like it.
Makes you eat.
it makes you want to consume it because then it infects you, and then something like I feel like that was a thing.
I mean, there's things that exist like that kind of in nature in some ways.
There's an ant that exists where it gets a fungus. There's a fungus that drips onto the ant's head, and then the ant crawls up to like as high as it can go, and then literally melts. And then whatever other ants it happens to melt onto, they get infected and repeat the process.
I mean, there's a lot of funguses that fully zombify bugs and like make them walk around after they're like dead and shit, which is wild.
Yeah.
Kind of what Last of Us was based on.
Yeah.
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps. Do you have any of these horror stories you would like to draw?
I might. Which one are you drawing?
I don't know,
not
dude.
here?
None of these are really easy to draw like a single picture of. I feel like this may have been
Yeah.
a bust of a segment aside from like, oh, let's check out this fun machine learning thing. I don't know.
It is kind of fun to play with. I think after the show, I might just go type in more.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg. This is so fucking funny. Just out of curiosity. Oh, whoopsies. Don't mind the intro. It says, I typed the topic as Snoop Dogg, and the story is, I was in the studio with Snoop Dogg, and he asked me to roll him a joint. I did, and he smoked it. Then he asked me to snoop around his house for him. That's amazing.
I'd be like, okay, I'm really high. Also, is this a coincidence, or is this like part of the...
Yeah.
Is this why you picked this name? Why are you doing this?
It's very funny that, number one, it understands that you would be in the studio with Snoop Dogg. That's impressive, I think.
It knows the correct setting for you to be amongst Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. And I like that the story that involves Snoop Dogg had to involve smoking weed, because, obviously. And then I just love that the Snoop is now being used in more than one way.
That's pretty great.
So I'm gonna draw myself and Snoop Dogg, I think, sneaking around the house. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can come up with a couple. It's under the playground.
Yeah, so what you gotta do is you gotta go to the Dolly website.
Yeah, I got in too, so.
Oh, okay. But yeah, visit Open
Alright,
API.
so
You got it.
Oh, it's the Open API part?
Yeah, you go to the Visit Open API website. You have to log in,
Okay.
which is your login credentials for Dolly. Or you might have to make an account. I forget which. I think I used my login credentials that I made for Dolly. And then you click Playground, and then you're going to have to click this drop down and click more examples, and then you get to the fucking, all the different things it has. Interesting.
There's a lot of weird ones. Restaurant review creator.
Yeah. I like the one that is just, it's called factual answer thing or whatever, and basically you just ask it a question and it searches the internet and just gives you an answer.
It's one that converts movies to emojis. Movie titles to an emoji.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet, but I'm curious.
Let's see what we got here. This is Back to the Future. So, kind of works.
Oh yeah, I see it. Marty McFly, Doc Brown, car, time.
Yep, there it is.
That's it. Try Fight Club. I bet it's fist.
Okay.
Two white guys.
Yeah, probably. Maybe like a... Yeah, we'll see,
House.
actually. Alright. Let's see here. Fight Club. What we got? I have to figure out how to use this, actually. Okay, I understand. Okay. You're pretty close. You're Fight Club.
Beautiful. That's accurate.
Yeah, yes it is.
I like how they get not just like it's not just the title of the movie. It's actual
Right.
plot elements.
Pretty interesting.
It's honestly that's the trajectory of the movie. Is
It is. It really is. People fight, then there's a bomb and it blows up.
Yeah. The movie ends with it blowing up. It's literally the last moment.
Recipe creator, eat at your own risk. That's funny.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I'll have to play with some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Okay. Do you have to type like topic : Is that how it works?
If it has like a specific formatting for the specific module that you're working with, you do have to make sure you copy the formatting.
Let's see, topic. Is that your Snoop Dogg?
Yeah. He's gonna be in a green tracksuit. So I feel like that's been his like look lately, is like a green tracksuit, right?
I mean, I would say that that's something wouldn't be surprised to see him in.
I did when I visited Philly a couple months ago. I watched there was like a Snoop Dogg stand-up special, but it's not Snoop Dogg telling stand-up. He's just the host, and I think he introduces about 5 different comedians, and then they tell about 5 minutes of stand-up, sit down, smoke a joint with Snoop, and then, move on. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, when we started it, I was thinking, is Snoop Dogg gonna tell stand-up? I mean, why not? He's done everything else at this point. Might as well.
Right.
But he did not. He didn't. I mean, he didn't tell stand-up. He basically just amped the crowd up. He did a good job though. Like Snoop Dogg didn't fail. I don't know. He's just. It's hard to imagine Snoop Dogg being awkward. I just can't. He's so chill.
Especially at this point.
Yeah.
You've been on everything and in everything. Like, you should be comfortable with it by now, I'd hope.
Yeah, you got nothing to prove.
I typed in buried, and the story was, I wake up in a coffin. I'm not sure how long I've been here. I start to scream, but then I realize I'm not alone.
Whoa.
It's pretty creepy. Buried alive with another person?
That's pretty wild.
No, thank you.
That is, that's interesting. I'm happy they didn't straight up just do the Ryan Reynolds movie plot.
Right. You ever seen that movie?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, fair enough.
Seemed kind of boring. I feel like if I were to,
I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I would hold up. If it would hold up for me now.
Right. I feel like if I watched the movie without having seen it, I get the sense that he's going to he's like stuck in a coffin like the entire movie, right? He's in a coffin, he's trying to find his way out. So I'm assuming that he has a cell phone, but it's got like 2 bars left on the battery. And so he uses the cell phone, does probably something stupid with it instead of something that would help him get out. And then that's frustrating, and then his cell phone runs out of batteries. And then he's probably got a lighter that he uses to see, and he does something stupid with that doesn't work, or he tries to set the coffin on fire. And then I imagine he tries to kick the coffin a little bit, and then he either gets out or he doesn't. Sounds like what the movie would end up being.
Some of those things are correct. There is one twist at the end that I thought was kind of interesting. I won't say necessarily that was good, but it was a twist that I didn't fully see coming, and I was like, and it was like kind of a gut punch type thing.
Oh.
So I enjoyed that part. But yeah, I mean, it's like the cheapest movie to ever be made. I don't know if that's actually a fact, but I'm just saying, like, on paper it is.
Yeah, I mean, aside from paying for Ryan Reynolds.
Right. Yeah, that's the full budget went there.
Yeah. Speaking of twists, I do want to tell you about the twist of that documentary me and Kyle watched about the speedrunners for Hobbit.
Oh, right.
So I mentioned that there was a twist, and you guys were like, how can there be a fucking twist in a documentary about speedrunning a game? And the twist was that the narrator of the whole video was actually, he reveals at the very end that he's actually the current world record holder of the Hobbit speedrun on GameCube.
That explains why he's so interested in this.
Exactly. You guys were constantly saying, imagine not only just speedrunning this, but imagine making a documentary. Well, now you know why. It's because he's the current world record holder. And the movie, the entire documentary is basically about his return to speedrunning the game. It's not about it, but it kind of, you understand by the end of it that he made the documentary because he had returned to speedrunning the game after taking a break for about 5 years. And it was his way of sort of giving a love letter to the community and then also being like, I'm back in it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. It's interesting that there's even a community for that very specific game.
Yeah.
That I didn't know existed until that video.
It's very strange. It's a game, I mean, it came out in 2003 and basically nobody remembers it except people who had the game as a kid. So it's just wild that it kind of blew up the way it did. And when I say blow up, I mean he will show like the preview video of people discovering new bugs and stuff in the game, new exploits for the speed run, and they'll have about 90 views, things like that. So it's interesting. I see.
Well, there's a community for it, at least.
There's a community for it, and that documentary has over 1 million views now. So I'm sure that that's just given it so much more exposure.
For sure. Definitely got people involved.
Yeah.
Some of these are so like basic that it's like there's nothing clever about them. They're just like, and then skeletons. Like I did this one that says, I typed in tap dancer and it says, I was watching a tap dancer on TV. Suddenly I realized the dancer had no head. I screamed and turned off the TV. Just like, okay.
Yeah.
So that could be applied to anything you typed in.
Well, have you ever...
the man walked up. Also, he didn't have a head. I was scared.
I was terrified by the fact that the man was... When I looked closer, the man was actually a ghost. But have you ever read the Reddit where it's about a bunch of 2-second or 2-sentence horror stories?
Yeah.
Because those do frequently turn out the same way.
Yeah, some are god awful. Some are clever, but it's rare.
Yeah.
It's hard to. It's a real challenge.
It's a
to
good
write something scary in that small of a. It's like an elevator pitch, but also you have to like be clever.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I don't know how to describe it really, but
you almost have to have a setup and then a twist, like 2 sentences.
Yeah.
The first sentence is a setup, and then the second sentence is a twist, which is hard to do.
Yeah, for sure. In that little amount of room, you have to choose your words very specifically.
Yeah. Brandon.
What?
Do you have anything
Ian?
you want to plug?
Hey, plug your mouth if you're gonna be ripping fat burps like that, you sick son of a gun.
Hey, why don't you open your mouth to suck my fucking dick?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for respecting that.
So welcome.
You're like, hey, if you're not interested, well then no, I'm not.
Thank you.
Anyways, no, nothing to plug at the moment.
Alrighty.
DrawBomb on Mondays sometimes. If the World Wide Web, if the series of tubes are not plugged up, we're able to do the show.
Yeah.
Check it out Mondays at 8. It's a great time. Also check out our YouTube. Ian's been doing a lot of work over there, posting lots of like little snippets. It's nice. I've been really enjoying them, and not just because I like to see my own face. I've been enjoying them because they're just the editing's good, and you've snipped out interesting parts of the show. You managed to find something interesting from the show, which can be a challenge in itself.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
No, my pleasure, folks. If anyone wants to check out the YouTube channel, please like, comment, subscribe, all those damn videos. It really helps us with the daddy algorithm, and I don't know. I assume that like just the combination of YouTube and general Twitch streams will help expand our reach, which is ultimately what we want to do with the show. So help us with the algorithms, guys, please. I'm begging you.
Help us. Help us. But yeah, Ian.
Yes.
Do you have anything to plug?
No, you know, there have been some delays with the comic I'm currently working on in terms of getting the Kickstarter up and running, because apparently the bank is dragging its heels on getting the LLC papers coordinated or something like that. So the Kickstarter for the anthology book I'm going to be part of is not up yet, but I'll be sure to pump the shit out of that once it's out. So once
I'll
the Kickstarter
I'll
link goes
kickstart
live.
that.
I'll kickstart you.
I'll give it a kick.
But otherwise, no, I got nothing.
Nice.
Aside from the channel, the YouTube channel, what he said.
I like in your drawing, I like your snooping. It almost appears as if you're snooping so well that Snoop Dogg doesn't even know you're there.
Yeah. He's like, damn, this is a normal house right now.
Where the hell did Ian go?
Little does he know. And then really what I'm doing is I'm just making this wall that they're hiding behind.
Oh, I see. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. I don't feel like coloring this drawing. I think this is just gonna stay
That's alright. I
black
like it.
and white. I don't know what the hell's going on with my body here. This is...
You're skulking around. You're being sneaky.
Yeah, but the
You're being a
foreshortening is all out of whack. That's a little bit better, but it's still not great. Foreshortening is hard.
I was snooping through my neighbor's house. I found a room I shouldn't have. Now I'm trapped and I can hear something coming for me.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
Okay, you're kind of the scary one in that one. Why are you snooping through your neighbor's house?
Why are you snooping?
It's probably
through
just
the
your
neighbor's
fucking
house?
neighbor.
Yeah. It's probably your neighbor being like, "Who's in my house?"
Yeah, they're allowed to be there. You're not.
Yeah. Is this like the game Hello Neighbor?
Yeah.
Hello Neighbor.
The break-in entering game. Where your neighbor's like, "Fuck, you again. Get out."
Damn it.
The neighbor's actually very nice. He just kind of kicks you out each time.
Yeah, he doesn't kill you. He just gently sends you back home.
Doesn't even call the police, which he should do.
Yeah.
These kids have broken into my house 40 times in the last hour. It's like full-time job throwing them out.
There, I think I'm just gonna real quick. That's it though. We're done with the show, right? That's it.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Alright.
so.
Should I color
Thanks everybody
this?
who hung out. Oh, if you want to, go, do whatever you want. Thanks everybody who stuck around even though we were dropping some frames. We always appreciate you.
Yeah,
One
appreciate.
Lotus Clock. We appreciate you. Oh. Oh. Crazy Kyle showing up just in time.
That one
Spuna
kind of scared
says,
me.
Did I miss?
It comes in very forceful. His first no is very forceful.
It's loud. Spuna says, did I miss the critter cam? Well, no, you did not. We did not do it this week. It's not always a weekly thing, but
Yeah, we tend to do it if we decide that maybe we should do one, or if we make a
or
new
if we drew a new animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tends to be if we drew a new animal, because, it's not so easy to improv off the same animals every time.
Yeah, it's like I've said everything a turtle could possibly say. I mean,
What else is this turtle gonna say to this tiger?
yeah. Well, maybe we'll do one next week. We'll see. But
I have
yeah.
I have a puppet for it that I've started and just never finished, but it's like
Oh, cool.
most of the way there. I just gotta do it, but I'm also so busy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It takes time, but yeah, like to keep you on your toes whether or not the critters are gonna be camming or not.
Yeah. And eventually, I don't want to give anything away. But eventually the critter cam will lead to something more.
What?
Or will it? I don't know. We haven't actually we haven't settled on
Discuss some
anything.
possibilities.
We've discussed ideas. Alright,
Yeah.
this drawing is done. This drawing is done, dude. Look at this drawing done, dude.
Great job.
Thank
You and
That's
Snoop
me
Dogg are snooping like a couple of dogs.
and Snoop. There's his jumpsuit. There
I
you
like.
go.
Has anyone drawn Snoop Dogg on top of a doghouse, sleeping
Literally
on his back? No
one of his
one
album
could have
covers.
possibly done that. No one possibly could have come up with that. except
Literally
me
one of his album
and
covers
my
is him at a
big
doghouse.
brain. No, I don't think that's right. I just came up with that now. I should
Oh,
sue him for stealing my intellectual property I just came up with.
how could he?
Oh, that's cool that you're also in a jumpsuit. You're just a couple of jumpsuit boys.
We're the jumpsuit boys. That's it. I don't know. I'm done.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Wait. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
yes.
back. I don't know if you got anything going on Monday.
I'm gonna be out of town on Sunday, and we're staying the night. But I do think we'll be back by Monday night. If not, I'll let you know.
We'll find out.
Before. But I would say odds are we'll be back next Monday.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Oh, there it is. Wait, whoa, wrong one. There we go. Bye. Yeah.